What's going on, man?
Welcome to the A1 Podcast. It's your host, Austin Lee. I'm joined today by current boxer and former arena and semi-pro player, who I actually got to coach for a very brief amount of time with Illinois Carnage, Ryan Schumi. Ryan, how you doing today, brother?
Doing well, man. A little cold out here in Chicago, but we're hanging in there.
Hanging in there, yeah. I mean, have you? I mean, I think you've been still, you're in the gym sparring, but you're not fighting yet, right?
No, I'm training to fight. I was supposed to fight in November, but it got pushed because COVID, and then I ended up
Oh,
having COVID on the fight date. So it was a good thing it got pushed. Our camp didn't have to worry about anything, but now I'm just training, man. Training, getting ready for the time.
okay. So, did you say your fight's gonna be on the 10th?
No, so right now, I actually recently just qualified for Golden Gloves, and that's at the end of April, early May. But it's not in Illinois. It's tough to get a fight in Chicago right now. So
Okay.
it's a lot of our neighboring states.
So, which state is that gonna be in?
Indiana is Golden
In
Gloves.
Indiana. Okay, cool. So yeah, but pretty much, obviously, before you got into boxing, and we'll obviously get more depth on the boxing side because that's what you're currently involved with. You're obviously you play football. So obviously, with your early years, did you play? Was football your first sport, or were you a multi-sport athlete? Starting off.
So I grew up. I played football, baseball, basketball, wrestling, little boxing. The only sport I never really got into was hockey,
Oh,
but
yeah.
pretty much played sports my whole life. I started playing tackle football. I was like 6 years old.
Okay.
And had a good run. Played about 19 years of tackle football. So a little wear and tear, but I would go and do it all over again if I had the chance to.
100%. And obviously for you, when I got to meet you and I got to be, kind of your de facto coach for just for that brief amount of time with Carnage, you were multi-sport, you're a multi-position type of
Yeah,
athlete in the sense
definitely,
that obviously with QB and wide receiver being your kind of your primary positions, and
definitely.
what. Yeah. So talk to me about kind of your early years. Were you naturally kind of gifted a QB? Did you kind of ease into that, or kind of was wide receiver position, or did you play a bunch of positions and then you kind of just progress either, and kind of which phase did you kind of settle in with those three
Yes.
positions?
So my first position, I played running back my whole life.
Okay.
I played tailback, halfback, whatever you want to call it, and corner.
Yeah.
So I played my main two positions from when I was 6 years old till I think I switched to receiver my junior year of high school. I played running back and corner my entire life.
Yeah.
And then junior year came around, um, being a junior up on varsity, I had to switch it up a little bit. I switched to slot receiver, H back, and came in and started it right off the bat, um, and took off from there. And the rest of my career was pretty much receiver. I didn't play quarterback until semi-pro.
Yep. So,
Um, I messed around depending on the offense. We ran a couple triple option growing up here and there, a couple different schemes through different teams and whatnot. So I played it. It's not like I just jumped in and played for the first time when I was 22, 23 years old. I had a little experience, but it was never my main position.
and pretty much, you mentioned kind of, obviously when you play in high school, which high school did you go to, and were you recruited at all? Obviously your junior year.
Yeah,
And
so I went to Buffalo Grove High School.
huh?
My junior season, I led the state in touchdowns, receiving yards, and receptions.
Okay.
So I did pretty well over here. We didn't we went 1-8. I'm not going to put the blame on anybody. We just didn't have the dedication and the commitment from the guys out here. We had a
Hmm.
select few players that wanted to be there, and it showed. Um, but yeah, I did well, man. I had decent amount of offers ending junior season. Should have done something with it. Every scout, mentor, and coach that I spoke with is like, don't sign, don't verbal. You're going to get bigger, faster, stronger, which makes sense. We ended up getting a new coach my senior year, and day one, we butted heads. Um, he wasn't the biggest fan of me, and I wasn't the biggest fan of him, but I had to be there. I had to be a leader and show the younger guys what's going on. Everything doesn't always go your way, but you got to kind of work with what you got. But I actually, the fourth practice of summer camp senior year, very first week, I tore my ACL and MCL in my knee. So I only played 3 games senior year. And so a lot of the bigger schools kind of backed out. And rightfully so, because it's hard to take a chance on someone coming back from an injury like that. Um, but the timing with that was I got invited to a showcase for baseball. It's the number one showcase in Illinois.
Hmm.
And I think it was like maybe 3 or 4 players from each conference got invited. And I tore my ACL and MCL. I think it was 4 or 5 days before that showcase. So I was going to go farther in baseball and football. I was a better baseball player than I was at football. I just liked football so much more. I like the contact, I like being physical and whatnot. But having my ACL and MCL torn at that time kind of pulled me back from both of those situations.
And it's interesting that you had that injury early on, that obviously didn't stop you from playing, post high school.
Yeah.
And kind of talk to me about kind of your recovery with that. Obviously you sustained the ACL, MCL. What year was that? Was your junior year? Or was that your senior year?
Fourth practice of senior year.
Okay.
So I was still 17.
Yeah.
Um, recovery, I got it scoped. I didn't have surgery. I got it scoped because I want to do everything I could to take care of these offers and secure my position for the next level. Um, and everything didn't go as planned. Stuff happens. You get some hiccups in the road. Um, I didn't help myself as much as I should have, and I didn't. Once that happened, man, because I never really thought about what I was going to do after sports because I always thought sports was going to be it for me, and I thought that was going to be my career, and so I never really took anything else serious. And I was young, dumb. Nobody could tell me anything. I was too hard headed. So I hurt myself in that sense. But
Right. And sorry, go ahead.
no. I was just gonna say the recovery process. I shortened it and tried to make it back for as much as I can, but came back early, tweaked it again, and only ended up playing like 3 games senior year.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah. So obviously recovery is key for anyone listening. Recovery is key.
big time.
Kind
Listen to
of.
your body. Listen to
Mhm.
your body. Listen to the people around you. I get it. You're a kid. You think you know what's right. I thought I knew it was right for me, and I was off. I was wrong. But it's part of life, though.
100%, 100%, and I think that, and that's a good segue. So obviously, after high school, you mentioned that the kind of bigger schools kind of backed off based on your senior year performance. Where did you go right after high school? Did you immediately go into semi-pro? Did you walk in at a college, or did you kind of what was your next step?
No, so mentally, I was so not there. I took freshman year off.
Okay,
I took first semester off. I wasn't there mentally. I was hanging around the wrong people. I was doing the wrong things, stuff that I shouldn't be doing. I lost my focus after I got hurt. Um, and so I took freshman year off the first semester, and then I ended up going to Harper Community College
oh, okay, cool,
and figuring myself out. I knew I wanted to play ball, but my mind wasn't in it. So the
right.
first opportunity that I did get, I jumped into it, just wanting to play football. Didn't think about the school and everything else that comes with it, and led myself to the best worst decision of my life. Though it changed everything for me. It was the worst at the time, but it made me who I am today, and it changed everything.
Can you expand upon that a little bit when you say the best and worst? Kind of, well,
Yeah, man. Like I was going through it. I was, like I said, hanging around the wrong people, doing stuff I shouldn't be doing, getting in trouble.
right.
Um, not really focused, and I lost my drive, and I lost everything that I had. Man, I was depressed. I was down and out for a long time, and so making all these bad choices and bad decisions, yeah, it was the worst, and I paid for it. Believe me, I struggled with it and had a hard time for years. But if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be who I am today. And I got a lot going on right now. Um, Working on a lot of different things, got a lot of things in the works. But all that bad that I went through, the people I hurt and people I let down and whatnot, including myself, made me who I am today. I guess I know it's cliche and all, but
No,
um, it happens, man. But everything's not sweet, you know.
it definitely isn't. You know what I mean? I I want to kind of talk about kind of with Harper. Obviously, you obviously kind of alluded kind of your season there, and it wasn't the best experience. A few guests on the show like Evan Van Cly, who eventually was your team on the Blitz, and we'll get there in a bit. He also went to Harper, and he was there right after they won the championship, and then when he got there, they started underperforming. What was your kind of your NTN experience? Obviously, you mentioned kind of being involved with the wrong people, and kind of you said best worst experience. When you say best experience, was it the best experience in terms of football, just purely football, or was it just the best experience being able to be at a JUCO and being and still
Nah.
be able to play?
So when I got to Harper, actually, they didn't have a football team anymore. They
Okay,
stopped. They didn't have the football program anymore. So I ended up after Harper. I ended up going to Central Iowa and playing ball there for a little while.
Yeah.
same situation. My mind, I jumped right into the first thing that I had the opportunity to get into and whatnot because I just wanted to play ball. I thought that's what would bring me back to me. And I was in the middle of Iowa, didn't know anybody, small town. I was doing well. I came in there and started balling, but then I got hurt again. Same knee, same issue. My mind, whatever, what was in it, even for a small percentage. After I got hurt again and started, I I lost it again, man, and ended up getting in more trouble and not doing what I'm supposed to in the classroom. And I was there for the wrong reason, you know.
Right. So obviously with that, kind of what would you say was like your biggest takeaway, obviously, from that experience? Because obviously, after college, you pretty much then decide to go and play semi-pro. Talk to me about kind of what your biggest life lesson was from college. Obviously being at Harper, but, even though you weren't playing, kind of talk to me about that and kind of how that carried you to kind of move forward. Because you did mention how dark, those times were, but talk to me about that. From your experience, what do you think was the biggest lesson that you learned
If
and you
I
took
could
away?
pull one thing away from college, it's school's not for everybody.
Right.
And maybe it is at some point, but you don't have to do it at the correct time or at the right time. You know what I mean? Like I'm finishing school now. I'm back at Harper now. Um, Never in my life have I been on the dean's list or honor roll, but the last 2 semesters I've been dean's list and honor roll because I want to do it.
Right.
It's the first time in my life that I actually want to be involved in school and I want to better myself. And actually, I actually care about it. When I was playing sports, even when I was in high school, I used to get passed along because I'm playing sports. Passed along. I didn't have to do assignments, finals, like stuff that you hear about. Everyone's got it to a certain degree, but I really didn't have to do all that much. I got carried along the way and everything was handed to me. And although it was fun then and easy, now looking back, is I didn't learn a damn thing doing that. All I learned is that I slowed myself up in the long run. So find your purpose. And if you want to go to school, cool. If not, you don't have to. There's trades, there's stuff you can do that doesn't require a 4 year or whatever, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, and that's a good point, obviously. See, it's funny. It's interesting you mentioned how Harper cut their program because you graduated, I think, high school in 2013. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And actually, we have mutual friend Chad
Chad
Mikos.
Mikos,
Yeah, Chad
yeah,
Mikos.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So Chad was your teammate out there, Buffalo Grove. Shout out Chad if he's listening to this.
How you
But
know Chad?
how I know Chad? Basically, when I moved to Chicago around December 2017, this guy Paulie, he's also one of my good friends, and he was actually my handyman who kind of helped me kind of situate in my condo over there off Lakeshore, which I just sold on Friday.
I saw that dude.
Yeah,
Congratulations. That's
thank you.
big.
Appreciate. Yeah. So Chad was the bartender at the bar we went to. I forgot the name of the bar, but it was somewhere in Pilsen or somewhere in
I
Little
don't know the
Italy.
city like that. I stay in the suburbs, so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
really mess with the city like that.
Yeah. So basically, Chad was there, and he was like the bartender, and I basically followed him and on IG, right? And then yeah, coincidentally, then obviously, then I started the Carnage, and then you joined the team. You basically joined, and then basically, then I see we have a mutual friend, and then I asked Chad, I'm like, hey, yo, Ryan, Ryan's your friend. Is he? Are you guys interested? Yeah, we went to high school together. We played. I'm like, wow, that's crazy. I'm like, so I mean, it's interesting how like the small world, the smaller the world gets. Obviously, longer you play, it doesn't matter what level. I
Definitely.
mean,
I've known him since I was probably 10 years old. We
wow.
played Pee Wee together.
Okay,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So I've known him for a long, long time.
And what position was he?
He played little fullback,
Oh,
linebacker.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I wonder why he stopped. I was like,
Yeah, I don't know. He actually went to Wheeling though. He didn't go to Buffalo Grove.
he went to Wheeling. Okay,
Yeah,
so you played against him.
yeah. I played against him.
Got it. Okay,
Worked him
cool.
too. Gave him that work too. Chad's my boy though. It's all love.
Yes, sir.
They,
Yes, sir.
my dad and his dad coached us growing up together, so we go way back.
Obviously, no. I mean, it's great. Obviously, and kind of like the parallels you mentioned about when Harper kind of cut their program. So Evan's like a year younger than me, a couple months younger, but like we're relatively same age. And then my school, West Valley, basically they cut their
So you
program.
got that ice, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. See, so that's why West Valley right here. They cut their program roughly 4 years after my last season. So kind of your freshman year, which is like kind of 2013. So it's the
Yeah.
same year Harper cut their program. They cut their program. So when Evan was on the show, we're talking about, I was like, damn, there's a lot of parallels here. It's like,
It's tough because Harper was dominating. I
oh yeah,
remember like I
yeah,
went to a game or two when I was a kid, or not a kid, but a little younger. And man, they used to roll against everybody. And
yeah,
I don't know why they stopped. Maybe teams started pulling out of the conference. I'm not too sure. But I just know that the couple games that I did see, they just dominated.
Yeah, and obviously, like, I mean, Coach Dragon Tionic was a big driving force behind that. Obviously, when Evan was there,
Oh, is that the coach at Harper?
that was Coach of
Oh,
Harper
okay.
back, who won the last national championship
Oh,
there
okay.
before 2008. Yeah, then he left. So basically, then there was a new coach, and
It
so
kind
it's
of
like a
fell
new
off. Yeah.
kind of fell off, and that's when the funding basically
Yeah.
sponsor stopped. Yeah, so it is what it is. I mean, obviously, you mentioned your high school team won 1-8. My team in West Valley, we went 0-10. It's not an indictment on talent. That's the key takeaway. It's not an
So
indictment on. Yeah, good.
I don't mean to cut you off, but just on what you're saying about the talent, it's freshman and sophomore year. We went 9-0 both years,
Yeah, right.
and
Exactly.
we're playing the same dudes.
Right.
And then we get to the next level, still playing against the same dudes, all new coaches, new system. Why they don't keep the system the same through all the levels, I don't know. But it's bigger than that. You got it's politics too. Like my junior year coach, me and him were tight,
Yeah.
and he used me correctly, and I did what I was supposed to do. Everyone else did what they were supposed to do. We didn't win many games, but and that's what matters at the end is winning games. But myself and our quarterback is my dog. His name is Richie Zernable. Man, we put up numbers over there.
Yeah.
We got our ass kicked, but we put up numbers. And if we had a couple more pieces to the puzzle, if some like junior year, the coaches listened to us. Senior year, it was their way or the highway.
Right.
And that we won 1-8 that year too.
And what you bring up is an interesting point, because when you have a system that you've kind of grown, you kind of developed your kids under, there's coaches out there, because I coached varsity 2 years ago before COVID hit. Basically, I coached varsity at Whitney for a little bit. I was offensive assistant. When you have a system there, and kind of you have and the way we did was we had our freshmen, our sophomores, our juniors, and our seniors all together during spring ball, and we split
Right.
during summer ball. So you kind of get a little kind of flavor of kind of, okay, this is how it's going to be when varsity. This is how it's going to be, when you're a receiver. This is how it's going to be. This scheme we're going to run. Here's this play against a cover 2, against a cover 3. Like, here are the different formation schemes. Here's the counters. Here's the pulls. You kind of lay it out, and it gives your younger guys a little bit more context. So that way, when they
Definitely.
do, you know what I mean. And so to your point, and it's kind of hard if you don't have that, because then you're just thrust into a new system and a new scheme, and you're expected to learn it. Obviously, no excuses, but it's still a learning curve.
Right. And we had a lot of kids on our roster too. Like we had 3 teams my freshman year. There's A, B, C team. Like we had like 90 kids sign up for football.
Oh.
And our school, I think they wanted to win, but they didn't put the effort in. They didn't they didn't let guys play both ways. Especially on varsity, man. We're here to win and play at the next level,
Right.
So we got to, every chance we get, we need the ball. But there's guys that don't belong that are playing because everyone plays. Just cool growing up. When you're a kid, that's great, because I coach youth football, so I understand that. But once you get to the high school level and varsity level, especially, man, we're trying to win games. People are trying to level up and get rides and get offers and whatnot. But it's tough to do it like that.
It really is, and that's also an important point, because one of my teammates from college, I'm not going to name him, but out of anonymity, but we, recently, we're just talking. He was on the show, and I mean, I've had a bunch of teammates on the show, so I mean, good luck and listening to if I figure out who this is. I'm not gonna let you know. But basically, we're just talking, and he said, "Yo, Oz," I'm like, "What's good?" And he's all like, "Yo, like, I feel if there weren't so many fucking politics, and there wasn't so much, kind of bullshit going on with favoritism and nepotism, when I transferred, outside of West Valley, I would have had a much more fruitful college career."
Yeah.
And essentially, the reason why is because when he transferred, basically the school he was at, the coach's son got to play. He got to play a lot. And he was not fast. He could make, he could hit.
That's how it works, man.
You know what I mean?
Tough.
And my boy can run a 4.3. You know what I mean? So he was
He's
cooking.
moving, huh? Yeah.
Oh, he's moving. You know what I mean? He could play both sides. You could put him in corner. You could put him in safety. You could put him in sleeve receiver. You could put him in running back. But anywhere on the field, he'll ball out. And it was just like, huh, like, like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Because he ended up getting a pro look, but he got injured, so he wasn't able to make the most of it. But essentially, you know what I mean? It's just like, well, imagine if he was getting those reps every single game consistently from the jump, post redshirting and transfer,
Makes a big difference.
it makes a humongous difference because now you're talking about difference between 1 year and 3 years of film
Yeah. Oh
out
yeah.
of 4 year. You know
Oh
what I
yeah.
mean? So essentially, I think your point's immense about politics is people don't understand that. That's also a purpose of the show. There's a
It's
lot
a
of politics.
business, man.
It's a business, exactly. It's a
People
business,
don't
and
people don't get that. People that don't play ball and they just looking from the outside, they think it's just football. Shut up and play ball. You know
right.
what I mean? But it's so much deeper than that. And you can't really explain it to people because it's you can't argue with stupid sometimes. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir.
Because some people it's their way or I'm wrong. You know what I mean? So I keep my mouth shut and sit back kind of and let them think what they want to think.
And that's also an important point because I mean, people who play ball or people who are benefiting from the politics, it's gonna be like, oh yeah, show up and play ball. But it's like, well, okay, I thought this is a merit-based system. If it's a merit-based system, then
Facts.
and we're not here. I'm not here. I'm not complaining about shit. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I still it still matters to me. It bothers me. It bothers me because there's guys on the field who, like you said, who should not be on the field. There's guys on the field who should not be, getting other man's reps based on what they've been producing in practice and on game day. You
Everywhere
know,
you go, every single level is like that.
anywhere you go, man. And it's funny. It's just like, okay, wait, what the fuck is going on here? And eventually, I mean, sometimes it's a motivational tactic, by some coaches to motivate the guy who's actually better, right? But sometimes it's just like you're riding this dude for whatever reason, and your best player isn't getting the reps.
Yeah,
And football, I mean, as much as we want to debate character, like I mean, my playing career was defined by character. Special teams was how I made my bread and butter.
that's what's
I,
up.
and that's pretty much how I was able to make it to, where's that? Oh, right there. That's how I was able to make it to this league right here, which you might be familiar with. The
Yeah,
AI,
that's
yeah,
what's up right there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly, yeah. So pretty much when you understand kind of your role and you do it to the best of your ability, you should be good.
Yeah.
However, you still notice stuff happening. You still
Oh, for
notice it.
sure.
So
For sure.
that's it. So, anyways, so now talk to me kind of. So now you're done with Harper. What's your next move?
I went to Central Iowa.
Okay.
Oh, so are you talking
Right.
now, Harper, or
No, no, no. You finished up with Harper, right? And then what? Then what happened after Harper?
then I went to Central Iowa. So I was at Harper for a semester,
Okay.
and I was like, man, I got to play ball. Are we jumping from here, or are we gonna jump to now? I'm finishing up school.
Whatever you want to do. I mean, if you want to go there, I mean, I want to kind of wrap up your college playing career, then we could kind of transition. But it's up to you. I mean, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, yeah. So I think I kind of got into it. What happened at Central Iowa? Got in some trouble. Got
Yeah.
hurt. Ended up coming home. Now I'm finishing up school, doing well. I got like probably one more semester, then I'm all done with that.
Okay.
And college is a wrap.
So now we're done with the school topic. Talk to me about what happened right after you finished up with playing in college. What was your next move? Kind of when did you start transitioning to semi-pro?
So I actually came home and started working.
Okay.
I wanted to play ball, but I didn't know how to go about it. I didn't know anything about semi-pro. I didn't know anything about that. And it's actually funny. So, Tommy Kudaba, the quarterback.
Yeah.
So,
Or maybe I don't. I think his name sounds
he
familiar.
he was quarterback for the Blitz. He was our quarterback for the Blitz. My first season.
We'll get there. We'll get there. But
Yeah. So
yeah.
he's involved in this. So my whole family was going out of town, and they're like, "Oh, you want to come? We're going out of town, going to do this or that, whatever." I'm like, "Nah, I'm just going to hang out here. I got some things to do." I had to go take my car to the dealership. So I'm in there. I'm sitting there waiting for my car, and I hear, "Yo, Schumi," and I turn, and it's my junior year football coach. And he just like, "Oh, what's going on?" The first thing he asked me is like, "You still trying to play ball? Like, what's going on?" And he coached for the USA football team. So he's been working with all these different coaches and he's got connections here and there. And he's just like, "All right, what's your 40 right now? How much you weigh? How tall are you?" And he's sending a text. He's like, "This guy's going to call you today or tomorrow." And I get a call the next day. It's from Tommy Kudaba. He was quarterback for I think it was the Fox Valley Eagles or something. I forgot what semi-pro team.
Mhm.
It was a couple years back.
Mhm.
And he's like, "Oh, come, we're going to have a practice. Come do a little workout. Come see what this is about." And I was not in shape. I was working. I was not ready, but I was like, "Let me go see what it's about." I went there and there's probably 10 guys maybe between running back, receivers, tight ends, quarterbacks, and whatnot. And I went there and just balled and did what I've been doing. And I went there for receiver. So I went there, handled my business, ran my routes, and I was gassed and everything because I was not in shape, but my hands were in shape. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I went there, had a good workout and whatnot, and about month or so later, the season was coming to an end. They were getting ready for the next season. I needed shoulder surgery, so I tore my labrum and rotator cuff to my
Mhm,
bicep on my right shoulder,
mhm.
and I figured that was the best time to do it before I jump into anything. And so I got the surgery then, and then kind of sat back for their next season. I was going to recover, rehab, and jump in the next season. Ended up waiting. So my first, I didn't play. I played arena before I played semi-pro. Technically,
That's my so. And now I'm gonna stop you again because
yeah.
that was my path. Basically, for me, I played at San Jose State College back in '08, my freshman year. Loved the team, I guess before the season. But I mean, I was able to get a lot of, good, kind of summer ball film and, spring ball film. That then translated over to West Valley College. West Valley College was where, because after my coach, Coach Dub, who's also guest of the show, who now basically got a job with the Ravens as the new passing game coordinator. Shout out to
So
Coach
cool, bro.
Dub.
I saw that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He's now going to be there, but he left for Fresno State after my freshman year. So I had the option either stay there or basically go to West Valley. So I went to West Valley, and so that's pretty much the rest of history, right? I had then after West Valley in '09, my sophomore year, I had the option. We don't own 10, so I was either going to go to walk-on at D3, local D3 at Menlo, or I could try the SaberCats. The San Jose SaberCats were coming back in the AFL. The AFL was rebranding because
Right.
this was around early 2010. The AFL came back in 2011, so they're holding tryouts. They invited me because I tried out, and they saw my film, and basically my coach Dub and a few other coaches had connections, with guys on the SaberCats.
Hell yeah.
They invited me to try out. The tryout was unsuccessful. Then basically, then the next year, then the team that some of these coaches left to start was known as the Stockton Wolves. And the Stockton Wolves were basically part of this thing, the AIF, the American Indoor Football
Okay.
Association. So then that basically they brought me into that, and then it was me down to the last three guys, and they said, you know what, you did great, keep working, come back next year. And then so fine, this is 2011. So 2012, basically, I'm just I'm like you. I'm working. I'm doing Pizza Hut. I'm going to school part time or full time, whatever you want to call it, at the local
Yeah.
JUCO, trying to figure shit out. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And basically, just like then finally, the California Eagles, they give me a call, and I basically go out there. It's down to me and one dude, he actually had better numbers than me. He had better 40, he had a better vertical, and he had better bench. So I thought he was going to get it. But they basically said they love my effort, and so they want to give me the
That's
shot.
what's up.
You
That's
know what I mean?
hey man, I'll take hard work over talent all day.
All day, baby. And you know what? I mean, it basically shows. You see the AIF logo right here? Read the backside of that. What's that say?
Oh, that's what I like to see right there. Special
Yes,
teams player of the year, baby.
yes, sir. Western
Number
Conference
81.
champions, Cal Eagles, number 81. Yes, sir. 81.
That's that shit is dope, man.
Appreciate it, brother. So pretty much now we can get to your experience because now you kind of understand my context of kind of my journey, which is synonymous with yours. I didn't play semi-pro because I need to play semi-pro. I played it after I was already done playing, at the arena, kind of level. You know what I mean? Talk to me about your experience and kind of what it was like for you to be, now from JUCO to arena. Because obviously for me, the transition for me was like it's like almost like you're like at like an equal level almost at JUCO. You're like, okay, yeah, like everyone's a baller, everyone's a flow, but everyone gets a shot if they show up in practice and do their job if they deserve it. But there's no politics, right? Like we talked about. But pretty much after JUCO at arena, it's like now that talent level is kind of up a notch. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh
So
yeah.
talk to me about your experience of what it was
So
like.
like when I was at Central, start there real quick. I felt I didn't belong there because I had offers. I had D1s. I had big time schools, and so when I got there, I was like I said earlier, I was balling from the get go. It was myself and one other guy, only freshmen that were starting, and came in right away, handled business. But then you go to arena, and you got all the guys in my same shoes, all the guys who were doing what they're supposed to do, and they were a level up from everyone from the JUCO or wherever they were at before. But now it's the best of the best out here. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
And I played receiver, so I was behind Bowie Miles. Man, he's a dog. I learned so much from him, but just so it was cool. Like growing up, I used to go watch the Chicago Rush play, and I went to some of their camps. And then Rush folded, whatever they're out of there. The fact that I got to do the same thing and see the kids out there, and it just full circle, man. It was sweet, but the level of competition, everything in arena, man, big up from JUCO. Big
Right.
difference. It's not even close.
It isn't, and kind of obviously with you, because one of your teammates on the Blitz, Josh, and also Evan, were both on the show. Josh mentioned, kind of his issues with the blitz. Evan mentioned kind of, what his experiences were. Evan's experience a little more positive, I would say. Josh's experience was a little bit more, on the negative side because there's some politics in playing. What was your experience?
It was a learning experience for sure, and the
Right.
fact that we folded and everything. It was a tough situation. It sucked.
Folding, let me stop you right there, because folding doesn't mean shit to me. What matters is what do you do in that moment in that league, because every league outside of the NFL, which is not the NFL or CFL, has either folded, been
Oh, facts,
rebranded. You know what I mean? So the
facts.
XFL or the AFL, wherever, the tier 1 arenas or tier 1As, like the AIF where I played, this ball right here,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Where is it? Oh, there it is. Or pretty much, anywhere else you play, those leagues fold. Talk to me about kind of what your experience was, though. I want to know about you as a player and kind of the league and kind of what was it for you?
Oh man, it was great. I think
Yeah.
we were only there for like about 4 weeks during the season. So we had a camp, an invitation tryout or whatnot, whatever you want to call it. And I went there and balled out. And there was probably 50 guys there. There was guys who were already on the Blitz roster that were there, and it was cool to meet them and talk with them and see how they run routes, because it's complete different. You run routes completely different in arena than you do outdoor.
Yeah.
No hard cuts. You're all weaving and all that. It's
Yes,
sweet.
sir.
I
Yes,
learned a
sir.
lot, but end up getting the call to come join the team or whatnot, come to camp, and I was the only person from the camp that wasn't already on the roster. So every person from that tryout or whatever you want to call it, I was the only new face on the team. Like Josh was already there.
Got
Um,
you.
Hampton,
Yep. Yep.
yeah. Let's see, like Bowie Miles, um, a couple of guys are already on the roster are there to help the younger kids out. But it was all a bunch of kids like me who just came from playing ball or played ball a couple of years ago, and I showed up. Ended up getting the call, coming to camp. Um, it's a lot faster game though in arena, and it was new to me. I grew up watching it, so it was cool. I had an idea, but once you're inside that 25-yard wide field and 50 yards long, and you got nowhere to run, nowhere to hide because you got the boards, it's you're gonna show up or show out, and you're gonna get your ass kicked real quick if you don't belong there.
Absolutely.
And so just the fact that I got to play with some of the best players out in Chicago, it helped me so much as a player and understanding they all took me under their wing, because I was new to it. I was the only rookie out there, and so it was sweet. And I had a great experience with it.
What would you say was your favorite moment playing with Blitz?
Um, Probably, honestly, playing the doing it for the kids, man. Like after the game, seeing all the kids run on the field
Yeah.
and signing stuff for the kids, and can you take a picture? Man, it was sweet because that was me when I was a kid at the Rush game.
Yeah.
So it was sweet, man.
Yeah. And obviously Evan said that too. Everyone's like, he's like, it's the coolest feeling in the world when the kid comes up to you and asks for your autograph. And pretty much kind of with that, obviously when kids come in to you, and this is what Evan said. He said, to that kid, you're like a Rocky statue. You're like
Yeah,
a
I
Rocky
like that. Yeah.
statue. You know what I mean? And to like, so I mean, it's like the coolest feeling. You obviously mentioned, obviously we had the kids and just doing things for the kids. What was your, I guess, what was your best moment kind of interacting with kids, either before or after the game?
Um. So I'll give you two. One of them's goofy.
Okay.
So I'm sitting there. We're in Western Michigan playing, and I was on the kickoff team. I was the right gunner.
Hey,
And
special teams, baby. We
so
hey, we out here.
you already
Yeah.
know. You already know. So
All
I'm
right.
out here, and I'm getting ready. They're getting ready to kick the ball, and
Mhm.
we're in their stadium in Western Michigan.
Yep.
And so I'm in my position. I'm getting ready to go, waiting for the whistle or whatnot. And all I hear is this dad and this little kid behind me. And all I hear is the dad say, "Hey, give number one a wet willy." So I turn around. I said, "What?" And the kid is like getting ready to give me a wet willy. I was like, So I scooted up a little bit, but so that was a little goofy one. Just seeing the kid after like a couple of kids probably signed. I didn't do all that much for the Blitz personally. Um, Politics, reps and whatnot, but whatever it is. Um, but I still got some shine. I still had a little fun, you know what I mean? But just the kids coming and say, "Mom, can we take a picture with him? Mom, can we take a picture?" And there's him running up to me, signing, "Can you sign my shirt? Can you sign my ticket? Can you sign my ball?" Like just stuff like that, man. It was sweet.
And obviously those moments, it may seem very simple, but it matters. You know what I mean? I
Oh,
mean,
big time.
yeah.
Big
Obviously,
time.
when I played, I mean, when I played with the Cal Eagles back in 2012, pretty much, social media was still not as big as it is now.
Yeah.
Instagram was just coming to the fold. Facebook was just coming to the fold. When the team folded, no one got any film. No one. Some of the guys didn't even get paid. And that
Yeah.
was the hardest part. You're like, wait, what? Like, it's a pro team, you didn't get paid.
Yeah.
It was big controversy to the owner, and but I mean, shout out those guys. I mean, like for me to get the opportunity at the age of 22 was just like, whoa, like what the fuck, you know what I mean? And I mean, for me, that was the biggest thing. Just be able to say that's on my resume. No one can ever take that. No one can ever take it away from me.
Yeah.
For you, obviously, and obviously with the kids were obviously a big thing. Be involved in the community of Stockton, because the city of Stockton didn't have they had the Stockton Lightning. They had a few other teams which came and went, and so we were like the last pro arena team in Stockton. But when the team folded, the headline was, another blunder for Stockton Arena football. But I don't. That's exactly why I said I don't give a shit if the team folds. It matters what we were able to give. There's only
Definitely,
maybe,
yo.
what I mean, and there's only maybe like one or two games that you can find online, and I mean, it's hard for me to even find it. No one got their highlights. A lot of guys left to go play semi-pro, which is part of the reason why I started playing semi-pro again after 6 years. I moved to Chicago, 6 years of not playing at all. But I mean, it's not about me. It's just me sharing my experience. But
Oh
pretty
yeah.
much, kind of with that, obviously, I mean, it was just like the experiences with the kids in the community and the city, representing the city, knowing that this means something bigger, than just like just like a club team, like a semi-pro team, or I mean, whatever level of football you're at, you're representing a city and you're representing a group of fans and a community. That to me was the biggest moment. Even though I mean, just like gunner or playing up back or being the jammer to kind of make my box for my return man,
Yeah.
depending on where they put me, on special teams, it wasn't necessarily the biggest thing. Those were the biggest moments playing wise, right? But for me, it was just kind of just making sure that, okay, cool. I'm here to represent the city. I'm going to give them the best every time I go out. Whether they cheer or not, it's not I can't control that. But what I can control is after the game, if I have to go make appearances or if they want my time, I'm going to give it to them because I represent this team when I
Absolutely.
put this uniform.
It's
So,
bigger than football, man.
yeah. So good.
So what was the question?
The question was kind of what's your take? I mean, like for me, that was my experience in the arena world because for me, it was like finally after 3 straight years of like, because for me, it was 5 years consecutive playing. 2008 was San Jose State College, 2008 West Valley College. To 2010, you had the SaberCats Combine invite to the training camp, then didn't make it. 2011, same thing with the Stockton Wolves, didn't make it, right? 2012, I finally get a contract. Thank God, you know what I mean? And then I finally am
Perseverance,
able to
baby.
perseverance, dedication, hard work, grind. You win special teams. I win special teams player of the year. We make the Western Conference. We lose, but we still end up winning the Western. We win the Western Conference basically by default, and then we make the championship game and we lose the championship game.
Damn.
But we're still able to have Western Conference champion. You can look us on Wikipedia. The
That's what's
count,
up.
and that to me is like, okay, we have our place in history to football purists, especially indoor football purists, right? Like this ball may not mean much to many people, but it means a lot to me
It means
personally.
something to you. So like
It, Go
you're
ahead.
always gonna have haters out there, man. Like it's anything you do, like, yeah, my season got cut short, folding and whatnot, but hey, I still made it to that point. I made it.
Right.
A lot of people don't play after high school. And the fact that I've been through so much up and down, so many ups and downs between injuries and mental health and everything, and still able to come back and have the opportunity. I don't care if I didn't play at all. The fact that I was there for that is so much, it means so much more to me than all the other things. And like I said, for the kids, man, like, are you familiar with Peyton's Hill where Walter Payton used to run out
Oh
here?
yeah, of course.
So I ran that every single day throughout high school until I got hurt, year
Wow.
round, 365 days a year. And it'd be cool, man. You see the little kids, oh, mom, can I go run? Can I go run? They take pictures. They come, the kids will run up once with me and then be gassed. They walk down. It was just fun.
Right.
Throw the ball around with the kids. It's so much bigger than football, man. It's so much bigger than the game itself.
It is, and that's what I was getting at. I mean, it's
Yeah.
yes, the memories matter, but the reason why I have fans today, it's not necessarily just because of what I was able to accomplish, even though it is pretty much a big reason why it's just been able to
Yeah.
accomplish, but it's also kind of what I do to give back, because
Definitely.
giving back is the point of the sport, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
And I think a lot of people look up to me out here in this area because of everything I've been through. People only know so much about it though, because I never really opened up about everything that I went through. You know what I mean?
Right.
But people know about the injuries. People know about the on-field situations, and I always bounce back though. It didn't matter how hard I got hit. I'm getting my ass back up. And I was
100%.
always smaller than everybody,
Yeah.
and that didn't matter though. It didn't matter. I was there to play ball, and I was there to win, and do what I got to do to stay on that field.
And me too. I mean, up until this point, I mean, I used to run around like a buck 55 or a buck 60, like max. You know what I mean? And so I'm obviously undersized. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? But I mean, pretty much that's why, because special teams was basically my way of saying, hey, you know what? I don't give a fuck. When Ken Shamrock was on the show, He said, if you're an athlete, you're not gonna look at your fucking your disposition. You're not gonna look at your weaknesses. You're gonna look at the situation, look at your strengths, and say, I'm gonna win because I know I can leverage my strengths to help us win this game. You
Facts.
know?
But to that point though, I needed to be told what I was doing, but it also ties. It goes so deep because I want to know what I was doing wrong, and I can correct that now. If if I played football now, if my leg wasn't all messed up, I would do so much better and so much more for myself than I did
Yeah.
back then because I'm
Right.
able to take criticism and I'm able to listen. Oh, he's not telling me that just because he wants to be a dick. He's telling me because he cares and that's what he sees.
Yeah.
And it was my way or the highway back then. Like I was a kid, man. I was young, dumb, hard headed, but I'm with you on that, man.
And I think to that point, obviously, I mean, when you're because I think you said you led your league in touchdowns, junior year. You're basically doing because you were naturally gifted. You know what I mean? For me, I wasn't able to play in high school because I was a fucking knucklehead my first 2 years. My grades were so shitty that I wasn't even able to play any sport. And then
Yeah.
by my junior year, because like you, I was hanging out with the wrong people. My junior year, all those people either got suspended, they got deported, or they basically
Damn.
got shipped out, depending on whatever they're involved. I was involved with those fucks. Like,
Damn.
what I mean? Those are the folks I was kind of just running with. Then basically my junior year, I'm like, okay, you know what? I don't want this. Isn't me. This is not my future. I need to get my shit together. I gotta get my shit together and basically figure this out. And at that point, I'm like, oh shit, I missed out on football. My whole high school, like I was not able to play. So what? How do I? You know what I mean? Like what's next,
Yeah,
right?
man.
And
See,
it's
it,
good,
real quick, you noticed that early though. I
right?
didn't realize that till I was 21,
Right.
22. Then
Right.
it was too late.
Hmm.
To a
Yeah.
point.
To a
It's
point.
never too late.
It's
But
never too late, right? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but your
when
point's valid. Go
when
ahead.
I was 17, 16, 17, you couldn't tell me nothing. Nobody could. My family. And I was going through some shit, man. Like I said, depression, mental health, and all that plays a big role in everything. But you didn't realize how severe it was or how much it affected you until you start looking back at it.
Yeah.
And then once you get to that point though where you can understand that there's something wrong with you, that's the biggest point. That's the biggest time of your life because that's when you can make a change or you can stay with that bullshit.
Big facts. Big
Yeah.
facts. Yeah. And so that's pretty much kind of my point. I mean, that's, so obviously though, you did eventually now, because now basically, so now we wrap up your arena season with the Blitz, which was, obviously great because that's on your resume. Now pretty much you started playing semi-pro, and I think did you play with a bunch of teams, I think, right? You played with the Chaos, you played with like all these other teams, right?
Only the chaos.
Only
I played
Chaos.
one season. Not even a season. I played the first week, and then second week is when I blew out my leg.
Oh yeah, that's right. And then so you played with the Carnage then. Was that your first team?
Yeah,
What?
yeah,
That's crazy, dude.
yeah.
I love it.
Yes, sir. So shout out to you, man,
Hey, appreciate
because
it.
that was my first little dive into semi pro. You getting swole though?
I know. I'm just out here, bro. I'm just out here. You
Hey,
know
I
what I mean?
feel that. I
Okay,
feel
go
that.
ahead. Go ahead.
No, it I had that little stint with the Carnage, and then that's when I made my move to quarterback though.
Okay. Yeah, because
And then
we needed a quarterback. We need a
yeah,
quarterback. Yeah, at that time, Coach M basically, he saw you and he's like, okay, like, I mean, Ryan, and I mean, I heard about you, what I mean, but from like other guys who on Blitz.
I didn't know you personally though.
Yeah, we didn't know. Well,
Yeah,
obviously, yeah, I mean, that was my first experience actually owning a team and
yeah,
coaching. You know what I mean? And so obviously, I mean, I saw it, I'm like, oh, cool, this looks good. I think I met one time, we shook each other's hand,
yeah,
that was it. But I
yep,
mean, pretty much, obviously, with that, I mean, that was on the Renegades up game. That was like the game the first
yeah,
win that
yeah,
we got.
yeah,
So
yeah.
pretty much with that, it's before the team split. But with that, obviously, I did see kind of some flashes from you. I did see obviously, like you as a QB or as a wideout, I mean, you could do it
Yeah.
all. And if Dre, who's also on the Blitz for a little bit, if he was playing, maybe he could have played. But obviously, like I mean, like
He wasn't on the roster with me. He
he
didn't play when
wasn't.
I
No,
played.
no, he
Yeah.
wasn't. Right? Yeah, I remember. Yeah, you
He
were the.
they actually beat us. He was on the Marauders.
Oh, he's on the Marauders. Okay.
Yeah, they beat us, man. It was a close game.
Yeah, and I think if I'm not mistaken, Marauders they got to play against the Michigan Ironmen that year in the championship game. Correct?
Yeah, we both ended up playing against them, but they made it to the championship because they beat us, and then they ended up losing. But Iron Man were solid. But
Ironman won the 2016 championship in this league.
oh, did they really?
They did.
I don't know. They were solid, man. They got a good fan base. They got the whole system down, man.
I got coaches. I have ex guys I used to play against. Guys and the Cape Fear Heroes are still around. That's the team that blew us out. The Michigan Ironman when I saw that game, and I saw the film, I was like, oh my god, this is legitimately giving me flashes of a 2012 AIF Championship game when we played against Cape for Hero, who went 9-0,
Damn.
and they were just running through the league. It was just exactly like that. I'm like, this Ironman team is just running through everyone. It's not
Yeah.
even. It wasn't even. I mean, and you know what? I mean, there's no shame in losing to a team because they have NFL guys on that
Yeah.
roster.
They didn't beat us by that much. It was a couple years ago. I don't remember what the score was, but we actually had a good game. And so did the Marauders. Marauders had a good game against them, but they were just it's levels to this shit, man.
Hey,
They
man.
they had the system, they had the work, they had the practice. They had it down, man. They've been doing this for a while.
Yeah, I mean, basically the way I frame it is that if you're a pro team and you've been running like a pro team, you're gonna when it comes down to it, the pro team is gonna show why they're a pro team.
Oh, for
Pretty
sure.
much.
Like I said, it's levels to the shit.
That was the shit, you know. But yeah, I mean, everyone's a pro. I mean, no excuses.
Yeah.
But you're right. So yeah, but pretty much obviously with that. So obviously you play with the Carnage, and then you basically play with the Chaos, and you got you retour that ACL MCL, correct? Or is
Yo,
it?
so this is in my other leg though.
So oh my god. Okay, so your other leg now. Okay, so
Yeah, so
yeah, good.
no, go ahead.
No, that's it. I mean, talk to me about your
Okay.
rehab and kind of your recovery. Yeah.
So we played the Ducks the first game.
Yep.
Went well, we ended up losing. We lost that game. And then that was at their field in Chicago. And then getting ready for week 2, I ended up playing with a flag team too. I was in that flag league. All of us were,
Yeah.
and it was maybe like I was playing quarterback at the time. Maybe like 3 or 4 drives into the game, I'm rolling out left, and it's the first ball that I ran the entire game. I wasn't even going to go to this game because it was like 7 or 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning. We played a game and practiced the night before, so I'm trying to unwind, take care of my body, and I left my house. I'm driving like I was 10 minutes away. I forgot my gear, so I came home, and then I was home. I was like, "Damn, do I go? What do I do?" I was like, "All right, fuck it, let me just go and go have some fun, get the reps in and whatnot, because I could use them. I'm new to quarterback." And about the 3rd or 4th drive into the game, I'm rolling out, went to go make a move. My cleat stuck in the turf. Ended up, I tore my ACL, MCL, LCL, PCL, meniscus. I broke my femur and broke my tibia all at once.
Fuck.
Non-contact, just running, making a move that I've been doing my entire life. It just, I don't know what happened, man. My cleat stuck in the turf and it was a wrap. And so the fact that that happened in a flag game pisses me off even more because it was for something that didn't even matter. But man, that was tough. That was big time tough. That took a toll on me too, mentally and physically. But mentally, that shit was horrible.
Right.
I was in a wheelchair for 12 weeks. I couldn't do a damn thing. I had a couple surgeries in 3 months, 3.5 months. Had a few surgeries back to back to back and whatnot like that. So a lot of physical therapy, a lot of rehab. Like it's still not 100%. Or else I'd be playing football. It was bad enough where I can't play football. I got lucky enough to be able to walk. Got lucky enough to even have my leg. I know it sounds like I'm over exaggerating, but my leg was bad. Like everything like that happened at once. The bones, my femur and tibia breaking. It's just bad news, man. But you got to move on.
And that I think is a good segue because you say you still be playing, but it's probably close to 100%. But I don't think you're gonna play anymore because
I can't.
you can't. You know, I mean, pretty
Can't.
much you can't risk that again because if you
One,
know,
doctor told me I can't. 2, physically, I know I can't play because I can only bend my leg 125 degrees. That's full force, me grabbing it, and it's probably like 110 just by itself moving. And full range, heel to ass is like 160.
and for those people who don't understand range of motion athletes, I'm just gonna show this to the screen. So this is a scar right here that I got when I fractured my finger, you know, in a game. Uh,
I'm set.
yeah, right there. So did you see
Damn.
that? Yeah. Basically, if you look at it, it doesn't go down all the way. It goes down that much.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because of range of motion. I had to do 6 months of physical therapy to get the range of motion back, and it still wasn't
Damn, 6 months
100%.
for the finger, huh?
Just for the finger, just yep, just
Wow.
all, you know what I mean? And it still hurts when I go like
I'm
that.
sure.
Yeah, and so pretty much the reason why I was asking is because I realized at that point, okay, semi-pro may be it, and I'm cool with it, you know, because I mean, you know, my career base speaks for itself, you know. You obviously then realize, okay, like you can't play anymore. What went to your motivation to start getting boxing?
Nah, I've always loved it. I grew up training. I grew up doing this stuff. So I still got a chip on my shoulder, man. I still got I got to compete. I'm 25 years old. I feel like I can. If I didn't get hurt, I'd still be playing football for another however many years. You never know, but I'm good at
But
it.
but
I,
but but boxing is a little bit more. It's a little more to make boxing to a professional career is a little more feasible in my opinion than football.
oh, for sure, for
Yeah.
sure. Anyone can go. Not anyone, but it's a lot easier to
To
become
do
a professional
semi-pro,
boxer. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Then yeah.
for sure.
Become better. So talk to me about that. Kind of what are your goals? Obviously, where are you sparring? Because I know you've had a lot of sparring practices, but kind of where are you training right now, and kind of what's your style, and kind of who are you emulating when you get into the ring?
Oh, that's a good question. So right now, so come fight day, come Golden Gloves, I'm claiming independent
Hmm?
because I float around to different gyms in the area.
Hmm?
This week, I'm actually going to check out a new gym 10 minutes from my house because
Okay.
I'll be driving an hour, 45 minutes to an hour to these gyms in St. Charles called Tri City Boxing, where I train my clients. They got the heavy bags and the teardrop bags and all that there. So that's in Buffalo Grove. I train locally there, but I'm sparring mostly in St. Charles. Um, but yeah, man, I love boxing, and it's something that you have to love, or else you're gonna get your ass kicked and ask yourself, why are you here? Um, and if I didn't do it when I was younger, if I didn't have the love and the training, I wouldn't do it now because it's not a sport that you could just hop in and play. You can't play boxing.
No,
You know what I
you
mean?
can't.
Saw Nate Robinson get slept by Jake Paul. Jake Paul is a YouTuber, but I give him his credit because he puts in the work. You don't have to like the guy, but you got to respect it because last 3 years, this is all he does. That
And
he trains and trains and trains, and he's got BJ Flores, world champ, is his coach. Like he's got the right guys around him now, and you can hate on the kid. I'm not the biggest fan of him, but I respect him and what he's doing in boxing. He's got a way to go though because he's not fighting fighters yet. But
and that's right.
yeah, no, I'm just saying like me, like I got Tommy Zibikowski helping me out big time. He's a Golden Glove boxer, professional boxer out here, NFL vet, went to the same high school. Um, so he really put me under his wing and showed me the ropes with this stuff, man.
So obviously, I mean, Coach, we can call him Coach Zabowski, right? Kind of like how I'll be for your coach a little bit, Coach Ollie, but kind of got Coach Zabowski is obviously, kind of in the ring, and kind of what do you think is like kind of when you work with him, what do you think is like the biggest how do I say this? What is the when you when you're in the when you're sparring, or kind of when you're training, kind of when you're with Coach Zabowski, what do you think is like his biggest motivational tactic, for lack of a better term?
Hit me in the mouth
Really?
because not like out of hand or anything, but as soon as I drop just a little bit, I'm getting popped, and that's the discipline. You keep your hands up because
Hands up.
it's the slightest dip, and you're gonna get caught. You know what I mean?
And Ken Shamrock was on the show, and he obviously did boxing a little bit too, but he was a wrestler and he was a he's a UFC Hall of Famer, right? So that's why I'm asking that question, because obviously different styles and different kind of the contrast of styles in fighting and martial arts, and as well as boxing, either there's southpaw, there's orthodox, there's all the different types of different, you know what I mean?
I'm
Different,
orthodox.
the orthodox, right? So
Yeah,
that's why I was asking the question. It's like, okay,
I could switch it up though, but I'm a lot more comfortable orthodox.
so what do you
But
say? So what is it? The left or the right?
what you mean?
Left or right? You tell me. Which one we gotta look out for? Oh,
Left, baby.
yes, sir.
I'm righty, but
Yeah.
I hit so much harder with my left.
Okay.
And I hope whoever I'm fighting next isn't watching this, um, but got to be ready, man. That guy Ryan Garcia says, "Don't blink,"
Don't
and
blink.
I'm not the biggest guy, but there's weight classes to this, and I'm quick, man. I've always been in all sports. I've always been quick, so I got quick hands, quick feet, and even with my leg situation, it's good enough to box.
And that's an interesting point, because with boxing, a lot of it is driving from your legs. A lot of it
Mm.
is driving from your legs.
That's my back leg too.
Yeah.
So that's
So that's
that's
your
where that's where my power comes from.
so basically your back leg is what you're leveraging, which has been surgically repaired, and you're pretty much leveraging that. But I mean, to your point, you are 100% for boxing, and I think the reason why is because you're not going to have to worry about someone kicking you in the
Nope,
in the shin or anything like that. But
nope.
you do have to kind of work on your footwork and work on your stance to make sure that you can make people miss.
Yep.
So. And
Definitely. Like I would love to do MMA, but because I grew up wrestling and boxing too, so I got both ends of it.
yeah,
But I take one kick, like you said, or I get taken down weird. It's a wrap all over again.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, honestly, I mean, like, not we're not all meant to play all sports. You know what I mean? That's why there's
Oh,
one sport.
definitely,
Yeah. So,
definitely.
uh,
But no, so Lorenzo Hood,
yeah.
he's killing it in his fight game right now. So shout out to Zoe. I've hit him up a couple times. I think we're gonna get some work together one of these days.
Yep.
He'll probably help me out a lot more than I'll help him.
Yep.
He's got probably he's a big boy, man. And I'm cutting right now, but I could take all the knowledge that he has from his team and whatnot and link up and train and help each other out one of these days. But shout out to Zoe, man.
Shout out. And I think obviously, kind of, working with different fighters, like you said, with different weight classes. Again, contrast of styles, contrast of weight classes, contrast of styles. It helps you get better, just because you see things a little bit clearer. You get to when you get exposed to more things in anything, whether it's sports, business, whatever the fuck you're doing, you gain a wider knowledge base,
Big
right?
time.
So, I think with that, I mean, with you, I mean, it's you're still relatively early in kind of your career. You're scheduled to do your first fight coming up, I guess, what, in a few weeks or a few months?
2 months, yeah.
Few months, yeah. And so pretty much when that happens, you'll be kind of like, okay, I've seen certain things. It might make it a little bit. It may make it easier. We
Yeah.
can't predict the future, but it may. So
Yep. And like I said, I'm cutting right now, but I spar against a little heavier guys, a weight class or two above me, just so I can get used to that. Obviously I'll spar guys my size, get used to that quickness and that size and the speed and whatnot. But if I can spar someone a weight class or two above me, that's gonna help me more, I think. Fighting someone bigger, faster, stronger.
exactly. And
But
obviously, go ahead.
yeah. No,
Go
no,
ahead.
no. Go ahead.
Now I was gonna say your earlier point about kind of like like you said, like, yeah, you may not be the biggest guy, but those weight classes.
Yeah.
One guy who we kind of glossed over, you were talking about all these other fighters and boxers, like whatnot. Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor is not bigger than me. He's not bigger than you. But at his class, this is the most devastating overhand left or right you're gonna take.
Big
Right?
time.
So I think that's a good point. I mean, depending on what weight class you are, know your limitations as an athlete, but
Yeah,
be
for sure.
ready to be the most devastating kind of
For sure.
force.
And
Yep.
it's a switch, man, because I'm a nice guy.
Yeah.
Maybe I wasn't always the nicest guy, but like I'm a nice guy now. And so the fact that with boxing though, it's weird. You got to go in the ring with somebody who you've never met before.
Yeah.
You got to flip that switch because they're flipping theirs coming at you. You know what I mean?
Right.
After it's all love, it's all respect because you got to have balls to even get in the ring. A lot of people talk about it, but if they had the opportunity, they wouldn't do it because it's rough, man.
And it is because I mean, you have to kind of find like some aggression. I was telling Evan this on this episode. You have to, if with football too, you have to find some anger. Like, at least for me,
Yeah,
I had to find some anger, and it's hard for me to get angry because I'm never like, not angry, but usually if someone says something or someone's like, okay, there's my motivation. Okay, I'm gonna prove you wrong, right? If someone, you have to find some, you have to channel inner motivation to say, okay, I'm gonna go out here and I'm gonna be the best version of myself, and I'm not gonna lay a fucking egg because I'm just like complacent or passive.
yep,
For me, it's obviously knowing that I was passed on, and kind of like to your point, sometimes you dug your own grave, and you could have been much farther if you kind of didn't do that to yourself. So that's anger inside me. You know what I mean?
also could have been much further back if I didn't dig myself back out though.
Exactly. And so
You know what I mean?
pretty much exactly. And so pretty much, to both those points, right? You kind of with the struggle you've been through, that is something you can lean on for motivation. Is that what motivates you to kind of get aggressive, or is there something else that you channel to become, the best version of yourself?
No, you kind of hit the nail on the head there because my potential back in the day is the same potential I see now, and it's crazy because the joy I'm getting from this training and fighting makes me feel like I'm a kid again, chasing the same dreams that I had back then. So like everything that I once was or could have been, that's all coming back, and all that fuel. And man, so it's just helped me out big time. And I got good people in my corner. I got good support system, um, and they all want to see me win. So you can't win them all though. So it's all you got to take it on the chin and do the best you can, study and move on. But definitely, so you hit the nail on the head with that one.
100%. No, I mean, obviously, when you're an athlete and you kind of, kind of your dispositions and like, oh, you should have been in the NFL. Like, that to me, like, it really just kind of drives
Yeah,
a little bit.
because
So like,
because I've been through a lot, man. Like I said, people don't know what I've been through, and people think I got it sweet. I got a great family. I got a good situation at home, but just because everyone's got a good situation at home doesn't mean that they're good. You know what I mean?
absolutely not.
And
Yeah.
I got just a lot of proving to do. I don't necessarily gotta prove people wrong, but I'm proving to myself that I can do what I set my mind to, you know? And I'm here for a reason. I'm not here to mess around. Like boxing's different, man. Like I'm here to take it all. I'm trying to go pro in the next year, year and a half.
Well, you pretty much answered my last question. What was your goals? And you're gonna try to go pro next year and a half. And that's, I guess, kind of, I guess, closing thoughts. You pretty much kind of alluded to kind of, where you are in boxing. Obviously, kind of what your goals are. What are your new resolution, or kind of what's your goals for this year, and for the near future for Ryan? Well, what can we
Shit, be
expect?
the best version of myself. Um, when you get knocked down, get your ass back up. Don't take shit for granted because I did that for a long time growing up. Like I said, like from like 17 to 21 ish, I took a lot for granted. I hurt people, I let people down. And not that I'm playing makeup or catch up or whatever, but I'm just not that same person. Like I was such a different person back then too. Like the person I am now is the kid that I was when I was 16 and younger.
Yeah,
So I feel like I skipped some time and skipped part of my life, but it's starting back now and it feels like I haven't skipped anything. You know what I mean?
right.
It does because it happened and you can't just pretend like it didn't happen. I fucked up and dealt with that, but I'm here now and I'm about my business right now. I got a lot going on.
Pretty much. I'm looking forward to your first fight, and kind of let the listeners and viewers know kind of where will they be able to see Ryan Schumi in his first boxing debut.
It's a great question. There'll be a live stream somewhere. As soon as I get more info on the date and the location, I'll have tickets available if fans are allowed, and streaming services and whatnot. But until I get that next kind of info from my team, I don't really have an answer for that right now. But keep an eye out for Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. There's gonna be links. It's gonna be live streamed. But until I know more, that's all I got for you.
100%. Looking
Yeah,
forward to it. Looking forward to it. Yeah, we'll probably update. We'll probably update the viewers close to the fight
definitely,
date.
definitely. So as soon as I find out, I'll let you know. I'll post it on my socials, and hopefully we get everybody tuned in to see me take care of business out there.
Yes,
That's
sir.
what I'm going to do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're looking forward to it. And yeah, I mean, go and drop your socials. For everyone one more time, and we'll close it
Yeah,
out.
go ahead, follow me at Instagram, Ryan Schumi one, and that's it.
That's it.
That's it, man.
Ryan, we're looking forward to seeing you go. All right. So I take care, and keep training, keep grinding, and hope to see you back on with a dub.
You too, brother. I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot, man. I'll keep you posted as soon as I get this fight details and all the info. I'll send it to you and watch me take care of business out there.
Yes, sir. Take care of business. Ryan
Yes,
Schumi,
sir.
folks. Take care, brother.
Appreciate it, man.